All right, I'm back. So you have a friend that loves their contrast paint? Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I forgot what they call it. I think they just call it like speed paint. I'd never used contrast paint until recent because I was away from the hobby for a long time. Was coming back into it. I was like, what is this contrast paint? Started like reading about it and then started watching some videos and stuff. I was like, oh, that looks cool. Yeah, that's what I've read about their older stuff. Like, I've never used Army Painter paint, but a lot of the stuff I was reading was like that it was really low quality before compared to other paints. Even like compared to Citadel, people were like, yeah, Army Painter is kind of like the cheaper paint that people would get if they couldn't afford Citadel paints. But now they've like redone the formulas and people are saying how much better they all are. That's part of why I was so close to ordering this set, but then was reading more and more about Acryl Pro, decided I wanted to give that a shot as my secondary paints. I don't think, at least for this figure, the guide that Citadel uses for painting this hive mind, the Leviathan, I don't think it has me using any speed paints for this one. It's just more traditional layer painting and highlights. Which I'm down with because I was kind of wanting to focus more on the traditional methods versus using contrast paint. Not that I'm saying anything's bad or wrong with that. I just, since I'm getting kind of back into the hobby, wanted to focus more on the traditional methods. I used contrast paint on the red Gobbo figure that I painted a couple weeks ago. I was very impressed with the contrast paints. Especially for like wanting good looking figures without spending hours and hours and hours painting, which makes sense of why Army Painter calls them speed paints, because it's like you can just put a single layer of the contrast paint and get so much accomplished with it. Yeah, I've been excited to try that as well, because there are like pro painters that are basically just like, yeah, this is the way to go now. Like, use slap chop and you have some freaking awesome looking figures in next to no time compared to the regular way they would paint. Pretty awesome. That's kind of what I'm wanting to do with the next set of Tyranids for this army, because I'm gonna paint these 10 that came in this little set how I'm doing them now, because I'm just batch painting these ones. And then after I complete this set, I'm planning on going into trying the slap chop for a battle patrol that I have. Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, that's kind of like the whole purpose of that style of paint, where it's like people would get into the hobby and it takes so long to paint them and have them look good. Like, yeah, you can paint them fast, but then usually they look pretty lousy. So it's so helpful to have a method that allows you to paint them quickly and look really good. Pretty awesome. Like, that was a big part of why in the earlier 2000s when I got back into the hobby, because I played as a like young teenager and older child. I think I was like 12 when I got into the hobby originally, 11 or 12. And it's like when I was a kid, I had tons of time, so I'd just sit and paint, and I wasn't that great at it. So not that I'm like fantastic or anything, but I mean, comparatively, I wasn't very good at that time. So I would just sit in our basement for hours and hours painting, and I actually got way into playing the game. So I'd go to Games Workshop and got some other friends into the hobby, and we'd play against each other and stuff. But as an adult, a younger adult, when I got back into the hobby, I was a lot more particular on the painting, but it took so long that I never really learned to play the newer editions and got back into the game side of the hobby, because I was just focused on the painting aspect of it. So I like the idea of having a faster painting method that looks really good. Hopefully be able to play the game again. That, or like I'd start painting and get really far with my army, and then they'd come out with a new edition. You're like, dang it. And it kind of like they're pumping them out so fast that it made me kind of lose interest in it back at the time. Which is like, I just bought I bought the codex for the Space Marines and the rule book and all this stuff. And they're like, oh, new edition. I'm like, what? So I've got like this stack of books here on my desk from the older editions when I was into it. Yeah, I feel like they should have new editions more rarely and just like do some kind of like supplemental changes or something to refresh it. But Don't change the whole thing every 3 years. That just seems excessive. I got painting off camera. Move the microphone a little over. That's probably better. So I think in the Citadel app it suggested using white as the primer, and then in the video that I was watching, they had said to use Wraithbone, and I was starting off the video, so I originally primed all of these in Wraithbone, and then just started going through their app where they do all the base colors. So the last step that I'm on is doing a base layer of Rakarth flesh on their like main skin area. Which looks really good over the Wraithbone, I think. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel like after... This is the first time I've used Wraithbone. Is that, like... In the past, I did pretty much all Space Marines, so I just would use Chaos Black. Now that I'm using this Wraithbone, I'm just like, oh, this is a cool primer. I think I'd prefer that to using white. Oh, that's good to know. Touch up a couple pink spots. Camera mic down a little more. Get it closer to my mouth down here. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out a bit with me, Nexus. on to the next. That's that final base layer for the Ripper Squad and 3 of the Termagots so far. So I've got 6 left. Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm, instead of just going straight into the contrast paints, I really want to focus more on the traditional paint methods more as I get back into the hobby and like build up those skills and then go to the contrast paints. And hi, KS Fox. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I appreciate that. Is that the Citadel contrast medium you're talking about? It's like one of their technical paints, right? All right. Thanks, Nexus Point. I appreciate you. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, so Army Painter has one too. That's good to know. I'll have to look for some or order it online. Yeah, I actually have. We were just talking about Pro Acryl in Army Painter because I was about to order the Army Painter Mega Set, but then was reading a bunch about the Pro Acryl line and all the reviews and people raving about it. So I have a Pro Acryl set that just arrived a day or so ago. That's sitting under the Christmas tree for Christmas. Pretty excited to try those out. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. It was an ad that I first saw for it, and it was right when I was about to order the Army Painter set, and I saw the ad and started reading all the people talking about it, and then watched a bunch of videos and read all this discussion, and everyone was just raving about how great Pro Acryl paints are. Yeah, I'll try these ones instead. So many people are like, yeah, I started using this paint and that's all I use now. I can't go out. I can't go back. They're based in my home state where I live. So it's like, support a local company at the same time. That's cool. America. Do you stream as well, Chaos Fox? You're like, yeah, you followed me. You were in my channel. It's very possible. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that was actually like a big part of me getting back into the hobby and streaming. I was recently, just within the last couple months, working 2 jobs. And felt like my kind of like work-life balance was too out of whack. So I resigned from one of those positions and just focusing on my own company, my own stuff that I'm doing, and started streaming and painting as a hobby again. which I had been away from for many years and severely missed. So excited to be back on both streaming and painting. Oh, that's cool. I came across some cards at some of the hobby shops for some people in my area that do that kind of stuff, where you can hire them to be a DM for like a D&D party. Pretty neat. Yeah, I feel ya. I feel like a lot of people are in similar boats, where it's just like COVID just threw a wrench in so many people's lives that we're still, so many of us are still trying to get past that. Shoot, I've got I have a court date in a couple weeks regarding some old loan that I defaulted on right as COVID got started. I'm like, what do you want me to say? Yes, I owe the money. I didn't have a job at the time. What do you expect? So stupid. Yeah, and that's basically what I'm planning on. It was just annoying to me that it was like I would have worked with them to try and sort something out, but instead they're just like, hire a lawyer and go through the court system instead. I'm like, really? You're gonna waste all everybody's time and you're just like, you don't even talk to me? All right, whatever. Which is basically all I'm gonna be talking to the judge about. It's like, we didn't have to get to this. Like, they just, first they tried taking me to court years ago. This was like in 2021, and I responded, and then whatever law firm they'd hired like never responded back, and the case was dropped by the judge. I was like, okay, cool, and thought that was the end of it. But now they hired a different firm, and they're just going through the same process now. And I'm just saying the same thing. Like, I'm willing to work with this company. Like, I'll try and get back on a payment plan or something. But instead, they're just like, no, we're going to the court, and they're trying to just throw a default judgment on me. Like, whatever. Oh, apparently I thought that was a link. But yeah, that's kind of the gist I got of it. Like, go through their process, whatever.